arkadaşlar. Şimdi karşımızda Brezilya'dan Julian var. Julian da bize Brezilya'daki COVID-19 durumunu aktarmış olacak. Hello Julian, how are you?
Hi. Well, I'm fine. I'm personally fine.
Okay. Can you describe us what's going on in Brazilian right now? You can start at the first scene of COVID-19, sorry, and till today. What's happening? What
Okay.
was the government policy? What people are thinking right now? Are they in panic in your country? Can you describe
Okay.
us?
So, well, I'm here doing what is called a memorial service. So I'm working in an institution for the Austrian government. And literally until 1 week ago, I didn't even have any slight possibility of having to go home or that chance conceptualized. I would not have thought that this would turn out this way. But so that was the first checkup we had as an organization 1 week ago, when we all had to tell them what the situation was like in our countries. And back then, I think there were like 30 cases in Brazil. So now, 1 week afterwards, this has multiplied tenfold. So it's growing exponentially. And in terms of policies in Brazil, you have this strong, this really strong conflict between the federal government and the federal governments of states and so you have the government under Bolsonaro, which is really not taking any measures and calling all of this mass panic and an unjustified mass panic. And then you have the governments of states, for example, Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, which now have declared states of emergency, although their measures are really not as strong in any way as they are in Europe. Since today in Rio de Janeiro, you have like a bunch of really subtle measures put into place that define the state of emergency. So, for example, restaurants can just run at a third of their capacity. Also, in metro, people are not allowed to stand anymore. But then again, the problem is that many people don't really cope with these rules in Brazil, and many Brazilians have no worries at all. So you see people standing in metros still. You also see restaurants being much not running at a third of their capacity. So yeah, it's a pretty complicated situation here.
Then the government is still allowed the restaurants, bars, and pubs open?
Yes.
Oh.
That's what the state of emergency indicated, that they should run at a third of their capacity, but not close down. And then again, in Brazil, you have a really precarious healthcare system, and you also have a really precarious economy. So if you force these pubs and restaurants to close down, oh man, that could get really nasty, because they couldn't probably afford to reopen, and then the government couldn't afford to supply them with sufficient funds to be able to do that.
Okay. What about workers? In many countries, workers want paid leave, but as you describe us, the Brazil is going something different in the other countries, about not like the other countries actually. So in Turkey, workers I really want to paid leave, because they should work still, but this is not safe for them, like us, like the students. I mean, the universities are closed up, high schools are closed up, but still the workers go to work, and they should go outside so they can do the production protocols. So what about Brazil? Are the governments will give the paid leave or not? What about unions say, or what about workers say?
Well, the thing is that obviously all all workers want paid leave, and yes, just yesterday I was in the store with this guy who has his own clothing brand, and so I talked with him about well how this is affecting him, and then he was like, I don't want to be in the shop right now. I want to be at home, but I can't because I won't get any money, and if I don't get any money, I won't be able to rent this space anymore. So I'll have to close down. I think, well, there, obviously the Brazilian government is gonna have to try to let money flow where it will be missing, but the Brazilian government is for once comparably poor if you're looking at countries like Turkey or any first world country for that matter. And then again, it's really, really bad and ineffective at directing the money in a certain way, in a correct way.
Yeah, I get it. And how about schools? How about students? In here, our schools are closed up. In Brazil.
They are also open. Some schools or universities have decided for themselves to close down. For example, the PUC in Rio, the PUC in Rio, that's a university, a private university here. They have closed down like 1 week ago, I think.
And if they will going to online education or just close up and do whatever you want.
That particular university, yes, and I think most universities in Brazil are capable of transferring to online education.
Okay, perfect. So I will ask you one more thing too. In Brazil, is the hospital capacity and bed capacity and medical workers capacity is enough for that? Because no. Okay. So
it's
what do you guys do?
Like at the moment or before the coronavirus, the healthcare system in Brazil, even in its normal state, is already at its limit. You already have beds in corridors. You already have people not getting rooms, and you already don't have sufficient funds for all kinds of medical supplies. You don't have sufficient medical personnel. It's already not working, and with such a crisis, it will probably collapse. That's like for me, that's the principal reason why I decided to end my stay here. I've been here for 7 months, and I initially was plans to, or like I was appointed to be here for 10 months, but now I'm actually leaving the country and going back to Austria in 2 days.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any suggestion to us? Do this or not to do this? What will you going to say to Turkey?
To do what particularly?
Yeah. Do you say that? I mean, we learned the coronavirus in Turkey 11 March, so it's about a week ago. It's really new, actually. We know the other countries, what they did, what are doing right now, but this is really new thing for all of us, for all the country. And people are confused, actually. Are we should stay home or no? Go outside? Are we will be still working or not? Is there anything that's really bad? We are really confused and we are actually really get panicked. In streets, you can see people that masks and gloves everywhere. They all talk about coronavirus. This is the only topics all over the country right now. So, do you want to say anything to us?
Well, stay the fuck home. It's really that. There is too much panic and too much negativity in everything that is coming to people right now. It is a difficult situation, but to be hopeless is not really a solution for a difficult situation. But then again, people should really, really care about the people around them. because you know, I personally, I really don't feel at risk. I don't think I think the death, the mortality rate of people who are 20 years old is something like 1 to 1,000, and I don't think in 1,000 people of my age I'll be the one with the weakest immune system, or well, yeah. Anyway, people who are older, that like mortality rate grows really rapidly. People over 75 have a mortality rate of, I think, like 15 to 100. So yeah, and then I see these people in I think there were like 2 or 3 coronavirus parties in France and Germany, and then you had like young people meeting up, organizing events through social media, and then meeting up and partying. That's so stupid. Like, if you infect anyone else in your family who's at risk, then I don't think anyone would want to live with that. So yeah, stay the fuck home. That's a good message, I think.